You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about the new CBA because we've got a fresh new ending of the season date. In Project B, you officially got a problem. Oh, the WNBA and NBA owners. I see what you did here. Pretty clever. Pretty clever as the WNBA and NBA begin the movement to box out Project B. And you see that on my screen right now. Guys, make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the like button. You see that on my screen. WNBA changing possible end date to November 21st. And during the Olympic year, it's going to be even later than that. Under the new collective bargaining agreement, the league is changing its possible end date to November 21st, which is nearly a month later than the previous deal. According to a document produced by the union and acquired by ESPN, in 2028, the season could stretch to November 30th because of the Olympic schedule. The document said, this is the latest the WNBA season has ever extended. Starting in 2027, the number of games played will increase to up to 50 and then 52 by 2029. Part of the expanded calendar can be attributed to expansion. Toronto and Portland are joining the league this season. By 2030, the league will be up to a record 18 teams. The players will also be required to report to their respective teams earlier. Oh, this is interesting too. So overseas play is going to have to be done and over with a little sooner than expected. Under the new CBA, beginning in 2027, players must arrive to their home markets by the later of April 15th or the start of training camp. Previously, the report date was later of May 1st or the start of camp. By the later of, I don't know. By the start of, I don't know what the deal is in that. No later than. How about that, ESPN? No later than April 15th or the start of camp. It was no later than May 1st. Come on, guys. Both the late November end date and the possible earlier report date could impact players who play overseas during the offseason, including those signed to Project B. Yeah, so there's a conflict. It's going to be very close just at the beginning of the year, but definitely at the end of the year. Never mind any of the other overseas leagues out there, which is scheduled to take place from November 26th until April 27th. The upcoming International 5-on-5 League has not announced the dates for its opening and closing tournaments yet, but it will make a tour stop in Tokyo from March 26th to April 4th. The latest possible end date in the last CBA was October 31st. The earliest possible start date to the basketball calendar remains unchanged at April 1. The document also sheds light on a variety of other issues at the crux of the CBA, which wrapped up last week when the WNBA and the Players Union verbally agreed to terms on a deal in the early hours of Wednesday morning. Get this, the document also specified through salaries and benefits the players will receive 20% of the prior year's gross revenue. That's interesting. The WNBPA and the WNBA were at odds for most of the negotiation over which type of revenue sharing system to adopt, the union proposing a gross revenue system, revenue before deducting expenses, and the league proposing a net revenue after deducting expenses. And it goes on to talk about salaries, and it's basically all still the same as some of the other things that have come out. There's some things related to, facilities, medical treatment, that kind of thing. But I thought it was rather interesting that the WNBA made sure they put in there, they got this league extended enough that, we talked a little bit about Project B at the beginning of the year, but there's other leagues overseas, all right, besides Project B that could conflict with the new beginning of the season and certainly conflict with Project B at the end of the season. And we're not even talking about when it goes to 52 games. And wow, November 21st could be the new end date for the WNBA season. That's pretty wild. We talked about the fact that the owners, now that they're paying these players real money, probably don't love the fact that they play for other leagues. So what did the WNBA do? Well, they started the process of boxing them out of said leagues. And I've said my issue, if I was one of these owners, would be, look, it's one thing when I'm only paying you $100,000 for you to go to some league and play. It's another thing when I'm paying you $550,000, or if I'm paying you $1.1 million, or if I'm paying you $1.4 million. If you're on a Supermax contract and you're playing for another league, I don't want you to get hurt. Aaliyah Boston in Unrivaled. So that's just something to think about. I have a feeling that when they get to the next CBA, that's going to be the next big hang up. Is going to be if because they're going to take a pretty significant step in money again, I would think. Maybe. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do if Caitlin Clark decides to play 4 years and retire. 4 more years and she's out because the rest of the league keeps trying to beat the crap out of her. They're screwed. Their next CBA, they won't be able to wipe their ass with it, on the paper it's printed on. But you get my point. If the league's still rolling and it's still on this upward trajectory, okay. One of the next steps will be boxing them completely out of any other league that's a competitor or that they could get hurt in. Tell me what you think. Finna be a long-ass season. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.